Hello friends, wish you all are doing good. So in today's session, what we'll do, uh, we'll replace the username password with a static value, which will read from the configuration file, and from to and amount will replace with the dynamic value. So prior to move to today's session, let's have a quick recap of our last session. In our last session, what we did, we had a configuration file. In the configuration file, we had endpoints, username, and the password. Okay, and we wrote one XSLT file. In the XSLT file, uh, we uh, we got the endpoint, username, and the password from the configuration file. Okay, and we stored these value into variable in these variables, and after that we created one message variable. In the message variable, we replaced the username and the password which we received from the configuration file, but we hard coded the from to and amount value in the message. But today what we'll do, in today's session, what we'll do, we'll replace the username password from the static value of the configuration file, and we'll replace the from to and amount the dynamic value, whichever value will pass from the SOAP UI. So whatever value will pass here, so we will rebuild the message accordingly, whatever value you will receive here. So for that, and one more thing, today I like to know how we'll create the context variable. Like in Java we have getter setter. So for that I wrote one XSLT. This is our XSLT. Okay, in this XSLT, what we'll do, we'll get the endpoint value from the configuration file. This is the configuration file, and username, again username and the password from the same configuration file. After that we'll have a param service name, and we'll pick the service name from the service variable, and after that what we'll do, we'll get the from to amount value from the message. Okay, like whatever value will pass here, like from is USD to INR and the amount is 100. So every time our message will be dynamic, means our value shall be changed every time. So to capture those value, what we'll do, we are creating a variable like from, and the from, what we'll do, we are using we'll traverse to from, means to get the value of the element from the value of, you can see this thing, XSL colon value of, and what value we'll get, the local hyphen name, we'll call this function, and we'll get the value of from. Similarly, to get the value of 2, we are creating one variable 2, and we'll get the value of we'll get the value of the 2 element, and after that we'll get the value of the element. And after that, what we'll do, we are creating a context variable. For that, we are using dp colon set hyphen variable and the name would be a variable colon context less currency, as it is the context variable. So we are defining this variable as context, and then currency, you can keep any name here. After context, you can keep any name. I kept it as currency because our web service proxy name is currency converter. So as per your web service name, or as per your scenario, means your multi-protocol gateway name, web service proxy name, whatever name you can keep here, and after that you can keep a variable name like this is for username. So to distinguish what is the variable name, like this is for username, I kept username, this is for password, I kept password, this is from to amount. So I created the context variable in that way, so that I'll come to know and what variable have what value. So for that we kept username into username, password into password, from to and amount. Okay. And just to make sure that I just write a simple message that we are in getter setter of the service name which we received here from the service variable. Okay, and after that I just mentioned the endpoint URL just to make sure that we got the valid endpoint URL. It just for simple logging perspective only. If you want, you can write username password from to amount here. If you want, you can log here. But in my next XSLT, I am logging again the final message. Okay, so after getting the values, the static values from the configuration file, okay, and the dynamic value which will receive from the message, from the request message, because here I mentioned that we will traverse the message from the root. So while traversing, we'll pick these values and we'll store all three values into a variable. So every time, like first here is USD, and after some time like we have SAR, okay, and here is USD, okay, so and here is 2000. So every time your message may have different values, so it will pick all the whatever value will pass here, it will store in the variable, in this context variable. So context variable, as I mentioned in my earlier videos, so context variable or variable which will be available throughout the flow. Like if you are in the request flow, the variable will be available throughout the complete request or response. If you created that context variable for request, it will be available in that complete request flow. Okay, I'll show you how we'll use them. So after that, what we'll do here, what we'll do, whatever we are creating again here some variable, because we'll use this variable into this XSLT, and the context variable. Okay, so we'll call them XSL value of here we'll select, we need to right select, then dp colon variable. Okay, and the variable, that's the name of context variable which you created in your previous XSLT, means in this XSLT. Okay, the username. Okay, this is the username and this is the password. So here we set the context variable, and in this XSLT we are getting those context variable. So username, password we set as context variable, so we'll call them here, and like current, similar, from, to and amount, we'll call all 5 context variable here. After that, what we'll do again, we'll traverse the XSLT from the root. Here we are creating a simple variable. Okay, simple variable in, and here what we'll do, in this variable we'll construct a new message. Okay, so here we'll pass the username and the password. In our previous SLT, what we were doing here, as we are passing the variable from, to and amount, but in previous video what we did, we were passing the hard coded value. Okay, so but here, as I told, we are making our this request message as dynamic. So whatever value we'll receive from the request message will pass here. This is from, to and amount, and after that we are passing the variable as pipe, that would be the input of the result action, and simply we are writing here our final message, and this is the variable which we created here. Okay, so let's upload this XSLT into our flow, then we'll check what values we received. Okay, so do that. So here is our generic message logging. it will be work for both request, and in the similar way we have the same XSLT for to logging the response message. After that we have a message customization. Okay, but here we'll upload the getter and setter. I have uploaded already the XSLT files. Okay, so here we'll use that getter setter value. Okay, and output would be, we'll keep the null because it will not be the input of the next action. So we'll keep the output as null. Okay, done. And here we'll use one more XSLT. So here this is our input. Okay, and we'll pick that file. This is our message customization underscore context variable, and output would be a pipe. Okay, done. We'll save it. Okay, let's save it. Okay, now let's move to our logs. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll initiate like here the value is SAR, USD and 2000. Okay, so let's, okay, so what we'll do now, let's move to our logs. Okay, so we'll check one by one. Okay, so here we can see that we can see, okay, I'll do one thing, I'll copy first so it will be easy for us to understand the message. Okay, Control C. Okay, okay, we'll do one thing, we'll copy out one by one. Okay, and the response, no need to see the response because we can see the response in our SOAP UI. So this will be the same response, so no need to see that response. So here we'll do, okay, let's see language. Okay, see here the username is blank. Okay, if you'll see this one, see here the username is the placeholder, the question mark, and the password is the question mark. Okay, but after implementing our XSLT, we can see this is our final message which will be sent to the destination system. Okay, so here we can see the username is the test, the value which is available in our configuration file. This is our test, and the password test123. So same we can see here in our final message that username is the test and the password is test123. Okay, and after that we can see that here the value is the same value which we passed in our request message SAR. We can see here from to this USD. Okay, and the amount is 2000. So now our request message dynamic means whatever value we are passing in the SOAP UI request message, we are getting the same one. And just to make sure this is the final message which is which sent to the destination system, what we'll do, let's enable the probe. Okay, and we can enable the probe from here as well. Okay, show probe, we are enable probe. Okay, and let's make instead of value 2000 we'll make it 5000. Okay, and here we'll make SAR to IND. INR, sorry. Okay, and let's trigger a request. Okay, now let's see what we received in our probe. Okay, so this is the request message, the input, and in the context variable we will not able to see any context variable here. Okay, because here we are just we are using the generic logging message. Okay, and here let's see, here still we'll get the input as the same, because we are not playing with the user, we are not setting username and the password. So again, here input as the input means the request message. Okay, and here we are setting still here you will not able to see any context variable, because we are setting the context variable in this XSLT. Okay, so let's move to this XSLT. So still here we didn't update any username and the password, same here, but here we created the context variable, and you can see the context variable, we created context variable currency. You can see here context variable currency amount from password and to. So here we are unable to see the value of this context variable, but we can see that we created the context variable here. Okay, so yes, in the next XSLT what we are doing, we are updating the request message. Okay, so let's move here. Okay, so now here we can see that username is updated. Okay, and the password is updated too. Okay, and here we can see whatever value we pass from the request message we can see here. Okay, we are not able to see these values. Okay, no problem, but we can see that still the context variable is available after. Means in this flow, if we are creating the context variable, we can call this context variable in any XSLT or gateway script. We can call this context variable. Okay, and let's see what we received in our final message. Okay, so here this is the final message which sent to the destination system. Okay, so here we can see the username is test, password test123, and from SAR INR and 500. So okay, let me disable the probe, and in this video we achieved that. First me disable the probe. So in this video we saw that how we can replace the username and the password from the configuration file, and these values are statics, but these from, to, and amount value, these are dynamic value. And how I showed you how we can update those values. First we need to pick those values. We need to pick those values from the message, and we need to set those values into the context variable, because we are using those values while constructing our request message. So I did for one request message, as this service have multiple operations. You can see all the operations. Okay, if you want to if you want to modify the another operation, for example you have get average historic cross value, what we'll see here. See, for that username, this header is common for all the operations. Okay, but the body is different as per the operation. Okay, so you can try to replace these value symbol, start date and end date. So you need to write first what you need to do in the getter setter. What I did, as I'm getting those value from to amount. So in your, for this operation you need to get the value of symbol, start date and end date, and you can set the values of this variable as the in the context variable. And in the message here you need to get the value of all these elements which you set here for start date, end date and symbol, and you need to construct one more variable like this. For this you have convert real time. Another variable you can create get average historical growth rate. Okay, so what I'll do in my next video, I'll let you know how we can create the template and how we will call the template. In one XSLT file I'll create the template, and in this in the main XSLT I'll call those templates. So I'll create two template only as per the operation name. So for the rest of operation you can try to create XSLT. Actually there is one more way. We don't need to, for two operations we are writing two separate variable and we are creating a request message. There is another way. Is like for this API there are so many operations, like more than 30-40 operation, maybe 50 operation this API contains. So for this you need to create the 50 operations and it's very hectic, and the XSLT code would be very lengthy. So there is another way. Instead of writing 50 operation, we can just simply write only one variable. We'll do the coding only for one operation, and that will automatically replace that static value username and the password, and this body values like from to up. It will not means like here this is for convert real time value. So I'll write code in such a manner that automatically it will replace the body of the operation. You don't need to write the 50 variable, just you need to write one variable. In that you need to do a small coding that will work for all the operation. Like for this API there are 50. If we have 100 operation or we have 150, means the code will not depends upon the number of operation. The code would be very generic, that it will work for all the operation. You don't need to write a very lengthy code. Just say code of like 5 to 10 lines code we need to write. It will work for all the operation, but that I'll cover in the very advanced topic when we'll cover all the basic topic. Then in the advanced topic I'll let you know instead of writing the very lengthy code, how we can write a very smart code that will work for all the operations. So guys, stay tuned with us. I'll try to keep making video so that I'll cover the topic as much as I can. So guys, stay tuned us, keep doing exercise, stay healthy. Thank you friends, and friends, I am repeating again, if you didn't subscribe to our channel, please subscribe it first so that you will get notification of newly uploaded videos. Please subscribe and click on bell icon. Thank you friends watching our videos and sharing your comments with us. Thank you friends.